in the chat. People have already gotten started without me. What's going on, MGTOW 5513, Nate Blast, Tangent, Tonda, Darlene, Rerun, RJ Connections, the Jaded Libra, Dwight Sanders. Just waiting for some more people to come into the chat. I'm going to go ahead and share this stream. Push a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. What's going on? Why is it so quiet? All right, cool. So y'all can hear me good. At first, I was going to ask Nate Blast, how did you know what I was going to talk about? But then some of y'all probably read the description. But I'm just waiting for a couple more minutes for people to roll up in here. And we are going to go ahead and get started. How's everybody's week been under this quarantine, quote unquote, that we have been under for the last couple of days to the last week or so? It's one big mess going on. And y'all, some of y'all probably gonna wonder who this is on the screen. Don't worry, we gonna get into that too. This is gonna be one of those blue check madness type streams. You'll be finding I'm gonna do quite a few commentaries involving the blue check Negro in the coming days, especially since there's not a lot of news floating around because everything that's been focused on is mainly about that Wuhan. Okay, Nate Blast, so you did read the description. Okay. I think you might be one of the few people that did read it. So you pretty much have an idea what we're about to talk about. But salute to everybody in the chat. Sky, you said this is your first time catching a live stream. Well, welcome, and hopefully it won't be your last. Darlene, she says, I'm doing good, Darlene. I feel good. And also, too, the reason why I post the live stream link into the community tab is because I figured that's an easy way for you to see it. Because lately, what I've noticed on some YouTube channels, I don't know if they're doing it on mine, they may be, people who are subscribed to other people who might have a live stream going or maybe another video, their videos or live stream does not pop up in the subscription list. So you actually have to click on the person's channel just to see that person's live stream or something like that. That actually happened with somebody whose live stream I was watching last night, and I made sure to let them know that. And I said, look, I had to click on your channel just to see that you were live. It didn't pop up in my subscription list. It almost made it seem like I wasn't even subscribed to you. So that's why I have a schedule set in place, so y'all know 9, 12, 4, 8 Eastern Standard Time, because sometimes we know those notifications don't go out, and I don't have to rehash that. I've officially accepted that YouTube has shadow banned me, and I actually found out somebody else who I am subscribed to is shadow banned as well. So it is what it is. And I think Jason Black said he believes he's been shadow banned too. But I have a feeling he finds a way to break through that algorithm all the time. But salute to everybody that's in the chat. Well, on Streamlabs it says I have 80 viewers. On here it says I have 86. The numbers are never accurate as usual. But yeah, let's see. I'm gonna wait till about 7:10. I have about 5 more minutes before I really officially get started into the motion of things. You said this shutdown has been hell of a time getting mini me to do her homework. Oh yeah, a lot of kids having to be home from school and be home with their parents. The parents have now become, a pretty much a primary daycare provider because they can't go to daycare and they aren't in school. They got that extended spring break. One pro to this whole thing is there's no traffic. That's one of the best parts about this thing is no traffic. For once, I'm glad that I can drive freely in certain places that are known to be packed with cars and vehicles and not have to worry about stopping and going on the highway, wherever I have to go. That's one of the best. That's the pro to this thing is there's no traffic. I don't know if there's anything else, but that one definitely works for me. What's going on to everybody who just showed up? We will be get started in about 3 minutes. You said, what is shadow ban? That's basically when a platform basically buries your content so no one can see it, or they don't recommend it, or they don't send out the notifications, and they also start doing stuff with your subscribers. Like, for instance, I have 28,100 as of now, 116 subscribers. By the time I probably get off of this, it'll probably be down to like 21,100 below 109 or something like that. And they juggle my subscribers back and forth because what it's doing is it's removing subscribers and people got to keep resubscribing. Like, they pretty much made it seem like I've reached a plateau where they're not trying to allow me to elevate my channel. YouTube does it. Twitter does it. I think Instagram does it. All social media platforms do it when they don't like a certain person. But hey, if you got a blue check, like the person I'm about to talk about, they'll cater to that. Exactly. Make sure y'all are hitting the like button. See, when you hit the like button, that throws YouTube's algorithm off. That actually sends eyes this way. So y'all definitely got to hit the like button. Make sure that's the first thing you do before you even leave something in the chat. LaShawn, you're not late. I haven't really gotten into the discussion yet. I always got to do a little introduction before I get started. Basically, to pass time until more people get into the room. Right. Make sure that bell is clicked. Make sure even if you got to come to my channel every day to make sure that 1, the bell is clicked, 2, you're still subscribed. Do it every day. Oh, yeah, I know. Hey, Don Calypso, I know. I already know. I'm not the only channel that's affected by it. And let me just tell y'all right now, this is not just a YouTube picking on black content creators to talk about the things that I talk about. I have seen palm colored YouTubers say the same exact thing is happening with them. They may not talk about the same things that I do, but they basically come at an angle that's not politically correct. And that's what YouTube caters to. They want people to remain PC. They basically want it to be a cookie cutter site. It's not under the same format as it was maybe 10 years ago. So basically, why do you think when people come on here and they say certain things and they have to add a disclaimer saying, look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. and then say what they got to say. Because if YouTube believes that you are, they'll find a way to either shadow ban you or to remove you. All right, it is currently 7:10, and 225 girl said, "What is a blue check person?" Basically, a person that has, it's like a badge that Twitter will give to people. And when I say blue check Negro, I'm not talking about someone who's famous or anything like that, because the reason why they get them is because they're the official person and they don't want people to create troll accounts of them. They want people to know that this is the official account, so when people follow them, it's the real person. When I say blue check Negro, you're going to find out via the person I'm about to discuss in some tweets that they put out there in the last couple of days that prompted me to do this stream. So now we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm sure more people will roll in eventually. So in this edition of Blue Checked Negro Madness Mania, we have this individual right here. And before I get started, shout out to Caressa McKnight, because she was the one that sent me the DM on Twitter of this thread that prompted me to do this live stream, because I was going to do it as a pre-recorded video, but I was like, no, I'm going to do it as a live stream because I haven't given y'all a live stream in maybe like the last week or so. And I said I've been depriving y'all, so I wanted to give y'all this one. And this is going to be interesting. So this person, her name is Mara Chanz, or Chanz, spelled Chanz. And she is one of those blue check Negroes that I always talk about on my channel every now and then. And now I think it's going to start turning into a series with how many of them just kind of pop up. But anyway, on March 16th, exactly, Vin Malaj, who is that? That's what I mean when I say blue check Negro. A lot of the people that get a blue check, we don't know who it is. Like, what do you do besides tweet? So on March 16th, 2020, this individual by the name of Mara Chanz had put out a tweet that had people looking at her with the immediate side eye, especially black men. Of course, you never heard of her. She has, listen, like I said, the blue check Negro is someone you don't know. They just hand them out to people because they get a significant amount of retweets or something that they put out there goes viral. But she put out a tweet that had a lot of black men in particular give her the side eye. So I'm going to, you know what? I'm not even going to, I'm going to put on the screen what she said, because I actually screenshotted the tweet. Can y'all see it? If y'all can't, I'll read it to you. I'm going to read it anyway. She says, "I urge more men of color, specifically black men, to consider applying to be sperm donors." That's how she starts the tweet off with. "I urge more men of color, specifically black men, to consider applying to be sperm donors." Oh, it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. The next tweet reads, "This tweet was inspired by seeing the biracial baby of a pro-black lesbian couple, and also remembering an article I read last year about what a struggle couples of color have finding sperm donors of color." So first she suggests that black men in particular become sperm donors or apply to become sperm donors. Right? Right? Yeah, exactly. Why is it 120 people watching and only 48 likes? And then she says, This tweet was inspired by seeing the biracial baby of pro-black lesbian couple and also remembering an article I read last year about what a struggle couples of color have finding sperm donors of color. So are you trying to tell me? And see, the thing is, I'm trying to figure out, how is she framing this? Is she framing this for herself, or is she talking about somebody else? Because I'm leaning more with the former. So are you trying to tell us that instead of you having the baby the natural way, and shout out to Rashad Jones, instead of having the baby the natural way, you would prefer that you got sperm from the bank, from a black man specifically, to have input induced into you instead of having it natural? And with that, what would that make her? That would make her a single mother. If she's not with, now, first off, if she's with another man already, that's disrespectful to him. Because what does that say about him? Like, logic is seeming to be lost here. Oh, trust, there's another part to this as well. There's more to it than just what I put up here. What's going on, Treehouse? But the fact of the matter is, she was inspired by the Alphabet Academy via the L class to make this tweet. That's who her inspiration was. I'm lost right now. Somebody please help me from somewhere out there in the universe. Help me make this make sense, what I'm reading here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and click off of this and click the next one. Here's the next part of the tweet. Many prospective couples want options, but there are so few. From my reading, I have found that many sperm banks have as little as 2 black sperm donors, on average 10 to 11. The couple in the article, I found a bank with 24, but when advanced search came into play, they were left with 4. Now, she's basically, and I'm going to read this article because I don't have a screenshot here, but it's an article that she posted from this website called parenting.nytimes.com, in which is basically talking about black women who are in the L class who are struggling to find a black sperm donor. And wait till you hear this part right here. I think this is an incredible way to be an ally. So wait a minute. So you're telling me, you're telling the congregation that in order for us as black men to be an ally to the Alphabet Academy, we have to be a sperm donor so they can have children. That's what she's saying. She says that this is an incredible way to be an ally. Is for heterosexual black men to give up their sperm, their seed, to a woman in the L class who apparently cannot have kids because, 2 women together cannot have children. But, give it a little bit more time, and somewhere down the line, they'll put in the books how that's possible. And then she goes on to say, I wholeheartedly support a partner in his thoughts about being the sperm donor to his queer besties. I got a question for the men in the chat. How many of you have quote unquote queer besties? And I'm gonna open up the phone lines too when I get through this. Exactly, Nate Blast. They call us homophobic, but want us to help them procreate. It says many people want to experience the joy of childbearing and would love some. Obviously not possible to have all in this situation. Biological ties to their child. And like you do realize once you go to the sperm bank, you have no ties to whatever, to the child or whoever comes and gets your sperm or whatever. You have no ties to that afterwards. But see what I mean when I keep telling you that it's like a lot of black women who literally help to push this narrative and this agenda. It's way too many, and she's one of them. Now, what I'm gonna go ahead and do, let me take this off the screen right quick. I'm gonna go ahead and read this article. Now, mind you, I have not read the article yet, and it was posted May 8th, 2019, so it's almost a year old. And it reads, desperately seeking a black sperm donor. Two hopeful moms-to-be set out in search of a sperm donor with African origins and finding the pickings slim. I wonder why. Nikki and I did something often considered too good to be true. We stumbled across each other in a humid, dark, loud nightclub in West Hollywood during the 2014 Los Angeles Pride weekend, and it was love at first sight. Fast forward to 2018 when we got married and bought a house within the same week, but our dream wouldn't be complete without one more miracle: motherhood. The medical recommendation is that women have children before the age of 35, so we decided that Nikki should carry first since she's 33 and I'm 28. But like many folks who seek out fertility help, we had no idea how difficult it would be to find the perfect sperm donor, let alone a black donor. Nikki is an extrovert who works as a global partnership senior manager for a top technology company. If her perfect smile and big hair don't blow you away, her optimism and ambition will take you around the universe and back. Nikki would describe me as a super creative, solutions-oriented introvert. I'm the person everyone comes to for advice. But I was at a loss when it came to finding a suitable sperm donor for our needs. Even before we started looking, I was under the impression that there was a limited supply of black donors. Maybe that's because I don't know any black donors. Maybe it's because buying sperm or conceiving a baby in this fashion isn't considered a quote unquote black thing. As it turns out, I was correct. She kind of is right, because a lot of black people, I don't know how many black people actually go to a sperm bank. I don't know any personally. I don't know many people who even do surrogacy. Through private sperm banks are not required to share the ethnic origins of their donors publicly. As we started our search, we found the number of black donors to be vanishingly small. Below is a conversation between Nikki and me about the start of our journey to motherhood. It has been condensed and edited for clarity. So it reads as this. I searched for a gay-friendly sperm bank because I figured that sperm banks function like most institutions or companies. How do most institutions function? Are you saying that you expected sperm banks to be less prepared to assist customers who weren't white, straight, and married? Yes, potentially so. So I felt like I needed to specify gay-friendly sperm banks. I came across a blog that listed about 10 sperm banks with each bank's contact information, a little blurb onto why to choose that bank and how they accommodated LGBTQAI plus families. Now do y'all see why I call it the Alphabet Academy? Look at all them letters. It started off with 4 of them. Now they done added 3 more letters and the plus sign. That's why I call it the Alphabet Academy. The bank we ultimately decided on offered extensive genetic testing and data, and the website had a little rainbow heart confirming their support for families like ours. Yes, that was super important. I remember you showing me that blog, and I was curious about all the other banks listed. I wanted to make sure we exhausted all possibilities, so we clicked on each link. We were both underwhelmed and confused with a lot of the interfaces. Their search functionalities weren't user-friendly, they didn't look diverse, but honestly, the biggest thing for us was that the bank we chose had the most black donors out of all the other banks we looked at in December 2018, with 23 out of 450. So that means out of 450 donors, only 23 of them were black. And that's with us doing a regular search for donors of African descent, not even advanced search. Can you speak on the process of setting up an access plan? There were 3 different types of plans. We both wanted as much information as possible, so we paid $300 for the account type that would give us 3 months of full access. This account type included an audio recording of a 15-minute interview with the donor, the staff's first impressions, photos, genetic testing, extensive health information on the donor, family and personality behavioral tests. Once we had access to all the donor profiles, we had to get tested for CMV, a common viral infection passed from mother to child during pregnancy that may cause some birth defects, although symptoms are rare, and sickle cell anemia to better refine our search. When I saw the CMV positive or the CMV negative search options, that's when I knew getting blood work done was so important. So I got my results back and they came back negative for both sickle cell and CMV. The negative CMV really hurt our donor options. Apparently CMV is a prevalent pathogen and a lot of general population is positive. So because I was negative, it was best that I stick with the CMV negative donor to avoid any issues during pregnancy. Our donor number dropped from 23 to 4. When we got that negative, I went back to the other donor sites to compare. Maybe those other sites had more black CMV negative donors, but they didn't, so we stuck it out with our original choice. I had a surprising reaction. I felt like now we had to settle because we want to be moms more than anything, and honestly, it was all rooted in shallowness. I wasn't physically attracted to any of the 4 donors. So it felt unfair that one of them had to be the donor. I mean, I got to choose you, and you're beautiful. Let me stop right there. She said, I'm not physically attracted to any of the 4 donors, which means that if they put the 4 donors right there in front of her, she would not be aroused. But because they were down to just 4, she had to choose one, even if it was one that she probably wasn't satisfied with. I was disappointed with your disappointment. I was hoping that it wasn't going to affect our baby journey. But I know you care more about the health of our child. That's why we went with the donor we chose. He had pristine health compared to the other 3 options. But still, I wanted you to have the best experience possible, and you did care more about the attractiveness of the donor than I did. Now, that's saying something. That's something I notice a lot of women would do. They would try to find a guy that looks a certain way so their child can have hopes of turning out a certain way. Which makes me wonder, how does the woman look? Because genes work differently. You may pull more from somebody else than somebody else. And when it comes to a sperm bank and sperm donors, that vial that has the sperm in it doesn't have a face attached. And she said, and that's my issue in life. I'm very invested in aesthetics and appearances. I'll own it. I'm shallow. I'm working on it. I need to be clear, though. Our donor isn't unattractive. He's just not my type. Now, mind you, this is a conversation between 2 members of the L class. Basically, women who have sworn off men and doesn't find anything physically attractive about a man. But here, one of them is talking about the aesthetics and the attractiveness of a man that she can't see outside of a vial that has sperm in it. Mind you, she's never going to sleep with this man. She just has to go off of what she has envisioned in her head. Well, this brings me to our black male friends who have offered to donate for free, and because they love us, but also because they understand the limited supply of black sperm. But you were apprehensive while I was on board before their contribution. Why were you against it? All the men who wanted to donate are friends that we have in our lives. I do not want to co-parent with anyone but you. So even though they'd be signing away their parental rights, I know they could change their minds. I don't want to have to deal with the emotional turmoil that comes with that. Plus, we have all this extensive health information from the sperm bank that was key here. Well, what would make you think if it was a complete stranger that they wouldn't want to reverse the parental rights? Especially if he doesn't have kids already. Yes, and so outside of everything else, the donor we chose was perfect because his entire family tree was healthy. We can't forget in his interview he said what inspired him to donate was his female friends who wanted black sperm, but there was very little to choose from. I'm about intentions, you know that. That was huge for me too. His willingness to donate to help families like ours truly warmed my heart. We went through all this to make sure we acquired a black donor. What do you say to the folks who ask why not choose another ethnicity? I wouldn't be able to provide enough support for our child's other culture, and that's not fair. It's important that we have black children that understand that being just black is beautiful. I know too many people who believe that black by itself isn't beautiful or enough, and that's simply not true. I agree. We want our future children to love who they are. We're both black, and we want our children to reflect our genetic makeup. Exactly, which was another issue I had initially because our donor isn't as dark as me. I love my skin color and yours, and I had hoped our child would look as much like us as possible. So basically, to me, it sounds like the donor is light skinned, or at best, probably mixed. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, how do you feel about the process overall? It's so beautiful, but let's be real. It costs a pretty penny. On top of the $300 access fee and $1,045 for the specimen, they wanted to charge an additional $300 for priority next day shipping to our home. We avoided the $300 because we had it shipped to one of their locations and picked it up, but the specimen alone cost almost $1,400. When you add all the frustration of not having enough options, the emotional turmoil, the feeling of settling on top of the cost, it's so hard not to carry that into the pregnancy. It's so important to think about the physicality of your future child throughout the process, to imagine the child's face, the rhythm of their breath, the curl of their upper lip from the moment you buy the vial. If you don't have this sensory evolution of your little being in your head, this entire process can get you down. And that right there was the entire article. That was a lot to read, but that was a lot to process. But I can sum it all the way up with this. Black men, that article right there, plus this chick on your screen, just basically says that they only want us for one thing: to be a sperm donor. I don't think I could stress that enough. I'm just reading the comments right now in the chat because I wasn't able to look at them. Shawnee B says too many studs and chicks out here that go both ways and are L only, and it's becoming the norm among them. Imagine having to fight off that kind of attention from the same gender. I just did a Strag Tales on the L class. Was it yesterday? I keep telling you, they have some of the most abusive relationships, even more so than heterosexual couples. But here's what I'm going to do based on what I have just read. I am going to open up the phone line. Now, what I'm going to do is this time, because the last time I opened up the phone line, it was just the women who called in because it was more so focused on them. And then I never really get a lot of women to call in. But this time, since this one was really geared towards the men, I'm going to have you call in because I would like to know your take on what I just read. Like, what's your stance on that? Hold on, let me go ahead and find the number so I can put it into the chat. To call in. Let me see here. Okay, I just put the number into the chat. Next time I need to just go ahead and put it on the screen, because trying to type it in there and go between screens is not the easiest thing to do. But I would like to hear from the men, because this was more so geared towards them. Like, what is your take on what I just read? Like the thread from this chick right here. If you need to know what she was talking about, I'll put it back on the screen so you can see it. But I want to know what y'all have to say about this one. Like I said last time, it was talking about how women, black women in particular, need to date by men in the B class, otherwise they will be biphobic. Now I need to know from the guys when they say that there needs to be more black male sperm donors. And basically all that's saying to me is that they basically don't want a man to be a father. That's really what it boils down to. They don't need you. They just want your sperm. I just typed the number into the chat if anybody wants to call in and give their opinion on it. What's going on, Didi? Oh, you said the issue with the number. Hold on. Maybe shoot. Hopefully, I didn't type the wrong number. Hold on. Okay. All right, try it. Try it now. I didn't put the 1 in there. So anybody who wants to call in, preferably the men. All right, what's going on?
Yeah, it's LaShawn. I was one type said the first number didn't work.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't put a 1 in it. That's why.
Alright. On this, I'm gonna have to call BGS favorite saying when someone is just someone lies at you.
I already know what you about to say.
Yeah. So that's why I hinted. We in the circle. We know what it means. I don't have to sit there. But everybody in their head is saying what the heck it is. Listen, this article is basically saying we are breeding stock.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's one thing when you decide, you know what, I'm gonna pick a better choice of women in the level of women I want to choose with. It's still the same black women. It's just, you know, if you play a role player game, you're gonna have to level up.
Yeah.
Now, you play Mario, that's fine. You got a mushroom. You can throw fire for a little brief second, or whatever the heck you want to do. That's it. This is what this person is doing. Because you're asking a third person. And then here it is. Many states, if the couple that is gay or lesbian break up, you know what they can do?
What's that?
If you're a male and they're female, and one of them was carrying it, they can apply for child support. Because when they do to the state don't recognize the female as the person that needs to pay child support. It's the damn DNA that counts.
Right.
And that's fact. And see here, this is why there is a low number of black men that is donating, even if they want to go ahead and carry on their seed. Because we don't have a choice after we donate it. But now, it's the, look. If you give the harvest hope, do you want to be forever paying child support to Harvest Hope because you gave, like, I don't know, like 100 cans or a crate to Harvest Hope because you could afford it and you won the lottery? Now you forever tied to a child that you donated goods to.
Right.
And that's pretty much what she's saying. And pretty much, I'm not a breeding stock. If all I am to you, and you dealing with another black woman that you legally didn't vote against you because, damn it, I'm not going to stop you because, damn it, they stopped me on every damn step of the world. I'm a black man. They still stopping me now. Why am I stop you? But damn, to have the people that I didn't vote against to vote against me every damn time and then tell me it's my fault because you decided to have a same-sex marriage and neither one of you produce sperm and I need to buck up, do it for the community and everything else is kind of disrespectful. And disregarding and belittling. Because if I did that to a woman, there'd be so many people up in arms.
Mm-hmm.
But what we get is, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're here for. That's what I had you for, even though I kicked you out at 15. Just like your daddy. Blah, 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 blah. Now we have to deal with women that go in transition and lesbian and everything else, and we supposed to help them survive too. and we don't get to ask when it's our turn. That's pretty much what it is. Everybody's taking liberties, but no one is respecting the man that you asking it from.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. And if you a man, have they? Nope. If you a woman, have you? Nope. But you still expecting him to do for you, while you gonna see if you want to do it for him. And that's all I got to say, sir.
Thanks for calling.
Sean's out.
All right, what's going on?
AKA Dan John.
What's going on?
Oh, yes. Oh, this was a good commentary from you, but you know what? This is what pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand when you got these so-called alphabet community. They want to hate our black men, and they want to turn around and use our black men like science experiments.
Right.
And what pissed me off the most is these brothers, and I'm calling them simps. I don't care, because they don't act like pole pimps. That's all they're acting like. But they come here and they sit there and they're only worried about the look, and he's not the baddest chick on the planet, or all this stuff about, all this stuff about who they gonna get at, and you know what I'm saying? And it's not, you quit looking at their ass and worry about the morals, because they have no respect for you, brother. And real women like me fight for brothers like that. And I'm single right now with a little boy. So I really am I worry about that. Like, ever since I had a son, my whole demeanor changed. And I was never an anti-black man, period. Never. I was always for my people. But these two witches, they can't raise no black child to be pro-black. That's going to confuse that child even more. So, my thing is, brothers, let me tell y'all this. Listen, this day and age, you need strong black women. And sometimes you can't even handle a strong black woman because you want them to be dumb. And while you go play around with other women, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Whoever choose to be with you, love that one, because she's going to back you up and stick by you no matter what. It's not about, manosphere. I keep hearing about that, the SYSDM, which has nothing to do with running away from black women. I don't know who came up with that, but that's really hurtful for me to hear that from my brothers. And they supposed to be the strong ones. And you got Hollywood and everybody else trying to feminize our brothers. And my thing is, I stick by to the fight for you. I love when y'all come on out and kick ass. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to your pride, your blackness, and your sister. I love that. But that's all I want to say. I just want to say, you guys, if any female get out of line with y'all, that's where we supposed to come in. We supposed to check these females for that and put them in their place. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to tell you that I'm proud of you. Keep this up. Brothers, open your eyes. These white women, they only want you for a sperm donor, and then they're going to turn around and divorce you and say you can't see the kids, and they get to get $4,000 or $5,000 in child support. And y'all complain about a sister that y'all ran away from for $200 child support. So, brothers, y'all got to get your priorities right and make a better decision. Not always going to be the sister got to make better decisions. Got to be the brothers, too, now. The brothers got to make better decisions. You know what I'm saying? So we can protect each other. And you know what I'm saying? I got 3 brothers. You know what I'm saying? I love them to death. And we going to work this out, but you got to want to work it out. And I'm proud of you, Turian. I am. You keep the good work up.
Okay.
Right.
It's somebody calling, but I can't for some reason pull up the call screen. So the person that's calling, if you calling right now, hang up and call back in. Okay, hold on. All right, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Torian? This is John calling from Corpus Christi, man.
What's going on?
Man, nothing much, man. I'm over here listening to the stream, and this is the thing that gets me, man. First of all, you got these women, these LGBT women, black women that have vitriol against us.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at this tweet, they seem like they've been like cool with us forever. Now all of a sudden they're not tripping on us anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm. They're in need. They're in need of something, and they know it.
Exactly. I mean, actually, what I get from this is, I'll put it like this: I feel sorry for the children that have to grow up with these type of people, because they have to go through, and they'll be going through all this dysfunction. Because, you know, like just like you said earlier, a lot of the relationships with them are always terrible. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the relationships, I mean, they're worse than heterosexuals. So
Yeah.
imagine what the kid will go through.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And all I want to say is this: for you parents out there that's listening, raise your kids right. Raise them as in the way that they should grow up, you know, so they don't follow a lot of this nonsense going on. You know what I mean? So they don't follow all this nonsense, because at least they'll grow up knowing who they are as people. Boys will grow up to be men. Women will grow up, girls will grow up to be women, you know, and they won't have to go through all this bull crap that those LGBT couples put their kids through. And I'll tell you this: I've already seen children like in the palm color community
Mm-hmm.
speak up. The ones that are like living with same-sex couples, saying that, you know what, they wish they had a opposite, you know, the ones that grow up with lesbians, oh, I wish I had a dad. Ones that grow up with homosexuals, oh, I wish I had a mom or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're frustrated. I've seen stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's all I gotta say.
Okay. Appreciate the call.
All right.
All right. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, Serene?
What's up?
Hey, not much. Oh man, that woman is bonkers. Hold on, man. Does she really think? I'm just saying, does she really think we're gonna be her concubine to, you know, have children with her when we're a lot smarter than what she really thinks?
I suppose. Hey, I suppose so. And like I was reading the article, I said it's no wonder that the sperm donors for black men is so low, because like they even said it themselves in the article that most black men would like to have children the traditional way. That's probably why you do not have. That's probably why you don't see them.
Traditional way.
Yeah. Because I've heard stories about people taking multiple trips to that sperm bank, and I'm not talking about the ones to get the sperm, but I'm talking about the ones to donate. Because, you know, they pay them for that.
Boy.
So you can imagine.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just saying, man, they don't read the fine print.
Mm-hmm. I guess they didn't want to do like those women in New York who went to go visit the Sperminator. I will never forget that one.
Oh yeah, the Sperminator. Oh well. She'll have to go childless at some point.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be the brother who donate some of my jizz to her, because I'm holding them seeds.
And see the thing, and then you also got to think of how she frames her tweet. She says, "I urge more men of color, specifically black men, to consider applying to be sperm donors." Urge is the key word there. As if it's as almost as if they are in dire need of it. So it's like you just want the sperm, but you don't want the man attached to it. Got you.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that should be the same for women of other races. They want the black man's sperm, but they'll have to go hungry.
Hey, it is what it is.
Hey, that's my 2 cents.
All right.
2 cents on the subject. It's nice meeting you.
Oh, no problem.
All right. Enjoy your night.
You too. Does anybody else want to call in? The number is floating through. I think Solo Dolo is posting the number throughout the chat. I preferably want to hear from the men, since this one is really targeting them the most in this particular post. And LaShawn Jefferson is right. He says he's not a breeding stock. And that's basically what this tweet in that article that I read is framing it as. They want black men to be nothing more than just breeders. All right, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Torian? It's LaShawn from Atlanta.
Oh, what's going on?
Georgia.
What's up?
Nothing much. And if you think that, let me see, how can let me see. Just hearing all the stuff that you were reading from what this chick is trying to do and what she was saying, it's just mind-blowing to me.
It is. But like I said, listen, this is when I tell y'all the blue check Negro is amazing of the stuff that you will find. Like, I'm bringing something to y'all that many of you who do not have a Twitter account don't see.
Yeah, these blue check Negroes are dangerous. They are definitely dangerous. And the stuff that they say and the stuff they put on Twitter.
Right.
And, I'm going to put them up there with the boule. Because they deserve to be up in that list.
Right.
And for this chick to actually make it seem like that she needs black men to be a sperm donor, just makes things worse. Because it's bad enough that we were back in the plantation, we were already baby making factories.
Yeah.
Back in slavery. And now we're trying to perpetuate that crap into modern times. Especially some of our women doing the shit. And especially how some of them are already, that are part of the Alphabet Academy, are already basically are trying to force us to do something that we shouldn't, that we don't need to do in the first place.
Right. And even when I was reading the article, you heard when I said that the woman, one of them said that she was not physically attracted to this man aesthetically or anything like that. And I'm like, you don't even know who the guy is. You only know him by the sperm that's in the vial. Like, you already have him in your mind what he looks like. And saying that you're not, we know you're not attracted to him because you're clearly attracted to women. You're married one, but you want to use something that comes from a male to put into your body to produce life. So like when she said that, and I'm looking like, I'm confused. I'm about as confused as you are right now.
Right. Yeah, it's just everything from what you were just reading. Also, she was all over the place from what you were just reading.
Yeah.
Like, some stuff from them doesn't make any sense about. So you're not attracted to a man, like you said, but you're attracted to his sperm.
Right.
And you want to make the sperm as being part of that academy.
Right.
That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, yeah, you know, a lot of us have to, you know, have to be careful with some of these women because they can be very treacherous when it comes to this type of stuff that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Me Too.
Oh, don't get me started on them.
That's behind, yeah, they'll be behind, they're already behind that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to trick us with this thing, and then the next minute they'll start screaming rape and sexual assault.
Right.
After that, no, I'm like, jeez. But yeah, but I'm glad you mentioned about the Sperminator, because I remember that video a few years ago.
That was crazy.
I did be about him. Yeah.
And the thing is, he's willingly giving his sperm out. He's bypassing going to a bank. He just did it in some kind of raunchy area, and he had them lined up down the block, like getting his sperm. So.
Yeah, and it's funny how some of these women will be fine with a white guy doing all that. If he was black, you know what that's all about. Here comes the slinging arrows and stuff.
Yep, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, like I said, you know, just gotta watch out for some of these women though, because they're very tricky. And it's funny how they don't call any of this toxic femininity whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
They swear up and down that it's toxic masculinity comes from us.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have to say, though.
Okay.
About this whole thing.
All right, appreciate the call.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that Sperminator story out of New York, that was crazy. That was wild. They didn't care what that man may have had. They just it was only one thing that mattered to them. And I don't have to tell you what it was. Those of you who are familiar with the story know what it is. I think somebody else was calling while I was on the phone just now. If they can call back, I would appreciate it. Solo Dolo, you said imagine if they had a son. I was getting that was one of the things that I was really thinking about too. What if they had a son? What if they were picking and said, I hope we have a girl, and they end up with a son? All right, what's going on?
I would appreciate it.
Hey there.
Solo Dolo, you said imagine if they had a son.
Hello?
What's going on?
That was one of the things that I was thinking about.
You might need to mute the background.
Hi there. Hold on. Let's turn it down. Hey there. What's up?
What's going on?
How's it going, man?
What's up?
This is Michael from New York.
What's up?
Hi, what's up? This is Michael from New York. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, what you have to say?
Oh, basically, that I'm a long-time listener.
Okay.
And I love your show. I enjoyed it very much. Me and my colleagues here and whatnot.
Okay.
Just saying, about the madness going out there. About the Alphabet Academy and all that craziness.
Okay.
It's nuts, man. Especially, that they're trying to, effeminize the black male. They're not really, creating these weird images of us, whatnot. But now they want to value our sperm, which is weird, man. I mean, what does it end, man? So we have this new generation of kids growing up, specifically as boys, putting on dresses, and then they'll get their marching orders, and I have to, make deposits at the sperm bank. So they want to keep us around just to make, more of us and make more effeminate boys in dresses, like some kind of weird assembly line.
Right.
I mean, especially when you talk to, Key and Peele about setting it up for a new movie and stuff. Creepy. So
what do you feel about all that, man?
I've already given my take on it plenty of times. You know, like I already see it for I see the agenda for what it is, and for more to come.
Yeah. Like recently, I had to tear some guy apart, on like Facebook because he keeps promoting this ridiculous narrative that black people have to be on the forefront, wear our capes on to the Asian community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, man. Hold your own nuts, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tariq says. I mean, honestly, man, when in the last 20, 30, 40 years have you heard any Asian, prominent Asian, politician or Asian in general cape for the black community in any way or form?
I can't really think of one.
Exactly. All I do see, though, a lot of Asian shop owners attacking us with sticks,
mm-hmm.
or even overseas being racist as hell, even in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You think in a place where you're surrounded by black people and whatnot, you try to be more careful. But no. It's like embedded in their genetic material and whatnot. And what do you expect from people who, go out of the way to do what they do to bats and drink them in the soup?
Right.
Same. And then, you gotta go out and help the Asian community. Go out and buy stuff. Take your hard-earned money and go out and buy some more stuff. Don't mind them smacking you in the head with sticks. That's how they say hello. I mean, come on, really. I mean, the coning that's happening in the community is so ridiculous. It's like, Professor Black Truth said, he believes 60 or 70% of us can't be saved no matter what. I try to be a little more optimistic, but then you see stuff like this. So I went, at this guy, until I just, had to block him. He was just getting ridiculous. And I had to put a snide comment stating that, hey man, you're complaining about that black airline worker that was attacked by that crazy white customer and whatnot. But I thought you caped for people who usually attack people in the black community, like you do with Asians. He didn't like that at all.
I don't. Oh, hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, but you're kind of going all the way outside of the topic being discussed.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, we wasn't talking about that topic today. We were talking about this on your screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So basically, that's what my feelings are about the whole idea about that. I mean, it's crazy. Have that come at me, want this and that from us, but not really call out any racism that happens in the community against. That's why I married people like James Baldwin. He was gay. Can't be helped, but he was always black first. And I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about the subject.
Okay.
Thank you for taking my call.
All right.
You take it easy.
Is there anybody else that would like to call in? I'm probably only going to keep it open maybe until 8:20, and then I'm going to shut it down. And shout out to Solo Dolo for putting the number in the chat. If you are a black male and you're watching this, and you heard what I was talking about, I would prefer that you call in, because like I said, this is more pertaining to you than anything. Well, if nobody else plans on calling in, I'm going to probably go ahead and just shut down the stream. I pretty much got everything out that I needed to say about this. I wish I had more people to call in about this topic, but I don't know if they are just didn't feel like calling in, or they weren't present, or they probably didn't catch it from the beginning, so they don't know what we're talking about. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. It's kind of a short stream, kind of short, but it is what it is. I got out what I needed to say. And y'all have a good night. And make sure you are subscribed, because sometimes YouTube loves to unsubscribe people. Make sure that bell is clicked. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't done so already, if you are able to, because I know some of you said that y'all got banned from Twitter. And if you can follow me, make sure you have your notifications turned on. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.